So today, let's look at how we are going to factor polynomials by grouping. Now, first, recall that the first thing we've learned is factoring trinomials when we have three terms. And we did that with GCF, greatest common factor. So that's the first way of factoring that we have learned so far. This is going to be the second method. This is the second method. Now, this is the most logical and useful thing to do when we have a polynomial with four terms. So here's what one might look like. You might have something like x cubed plus 7x squared plus 2x plus 14. So here we can see that there's no greatest common factor amongst all four terms, and this is why we use grouping to factor this one. So what we want to do is look at these as two binomials, x cubed plus 7x squared and positive 2x plus 14. And then we can factor out the greatest common factor of each binomial. So the greatest common factor here, they both have x's, and the largest number of x's is 2 of them, so we factor out x squared. Then we must multiply times x to get x cubed and times 7 to get 7x squared. Over here, the greatest common factor is 2. Multiply that by 2 and a positive 7, and that gets us back to 2x plus 14. Well, now we can see that both of these multiplication problems, we need to put a plus sign in there, I forgot about that. Always carry your sign down. But we can see that they both share this x plus 7. So that means we can factor this out into its own greatest common factor spot. And what's left, to put that binomial in parentheses, is x squared plus 2. So we factored out the greatest common factor of each binomial. We wrote what needed to be multiplied times the greatest common factor to get back to the binomial. And we saw that these terms, these binomials, are the same. And because they're being multiplied times their greatest common factor, we can factor that out as the ultimate greatest common factor. And then we write the two terms that are left inside the second set of parentheses for our second binomial. Now, to be sure, we can redistribute these and see if we get back to our original polynomial. So let's see if this works. We have x cubed, 2x, 7x squared, and positive 14. And if we look in standard form, these just flip spots, and that's exactly what we have here. Let's do a couple more. Let's do 3x squared plus xy minus 12x minus 4y. So again, I'm looking at this in two chunks of binomials. So I have this set and I have this set. Greatest common factor here is going to be just an x. I need to multiply that times 3x to get 3x squared and a y to get xy. Now over here, since both of these are negative, we're going to factor out the negative right here. So we need to factor out negative 4. we would multiply that times 3x to get negative 12x, and a positive y to get negative 4y. These are the same. That's what we want. That's what we're looking for when we do this. So because they're the same, we factor that out. Ultimate GCF. Then what's left? X minus 4. There we go. And you can take the time to go through and check it, but I am confident that it's going to work, especially because once we got right here, we did get the same thing. And if we just check these and we can get back to these binomials, we know we're on the right track. Now you might be thinking, well, what if they're not the same? It might be because one should be a negative. So maybe you need to factor out the negative and then that'll make them the same. But in polynomials that have 4 terms, there's a reason why. There's some connection bigger than what we're just seeing. And so it should always work out this way. You should not be, experiencing any of them that are not turning out to be able to be factored this way. Okay, I'm gonna put one up here and pause the video and see if you can do this one by yourself and then come back and watch the process and the answer. See if you got it right. Okay, so I'm going to factor these out. So I'm kind of thinking ahead. I know I need my subtraction to be inside to match this one. So I'm going to factor out a positive here because I want a subtraction over here. And there we go. So if that's what you got, nice job. I'm going to give you one more to practice on your own, and then you will have some practice problems on paper that you'll be working with, and probably a Desmos activity also. So let's see how you do on this one where we've got these 2 variable terms, 2 different variables. So try this one, come back, check the process and your answer. Okay, so we should have 3x here, y plus 7, and negative 2y plus 7. And there we go. Kind of fun, I think. I hope you are enjoying it too, finding those patterns and structure, making sense of how things are, being thought about and grouped together, and factoring by grouping. And so happy practicing. Now you're on your own.